everybody. I'm Hillary Slattery, the Senior Director of Programmatic Product at IAB Tech Lab, which is a sister organization working on global technical standards where the IAB does policy. And I'll let my panelists introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm happy to be here. My name is Andreas. I'm founder and co-founder and CEO of Pentaleap, which is a spin-off of Crealytics, if you haven't heard the name Pentaleap yet. So we offer a modular retail media platform for on-site monetization. I've been living in New York since 2016. Fun fact is that I never wanted to come here, and now I don't want to leave New York. Happens to many people. We got into retail media in 2017, and our first product failed because the market wasn't ready for anything programmatic at that point of time. Fast forward to today, we are powering retail media networks around the globe. For example, Home Depot, also CVS now, and Staples, many more. So excited to share where I think the industry is going to head in the future.
Hi, I'm Melissa Gallo. I am the head of operations for CVS Media Exchange. For those of you that don't know CVS Media Exchange, we are the retail media network for CVS Pharmacy. Fun fact, I am a native New Yorker, but I left New York and I haven't come back. So I'm now based in the Philadelphia area.
Good. Hi everybody, I'm Deepak Jose. And today is my day one of leaving Mars. I'll be joining a new brand from next Monday. So I wanted to tell a fun first, but I'll give you a dad joke. So I send a text to my dear friend that, hey, I'm leaving Mars and I'm going here so-and-so. I'm moving to Los Angeles and stuff like that. He messaged me, oh, glad you are coming back to Earth. And it took me a while to understand what is he trying to mean. So I'm back in Earth. So yeah. That's about it. So I've been in data analytics and AI space for a period of time, including brands like Coca-Cola, and I've done AI consulting for most of my career. So very excited to be here.
It's the end of the era. So let's get into what we're here to talk about. So an IAB report that was recently released around operational best practices for retail media networks found that 69% of buyers cited complexity in the buying process as their #1 challenge to RMNs, and they specifically called out the lack of automated buying. Deepak, because you are now transitioning, feel free to spill the tea. What do you hear most from the partners you work with?
Yeah, so I think a few themes that I want to highlight. So first, I think one of the key challenges or opportunity for large brands or large organization is about how to manage the budgets for retail media effectively. So in general, there are multiple organizations within large brands who own the budget, like it can be a media team or a national media team. Majority of the spend generally from a brand would come from shopper marketing team, where they are converting the old school in-store activation to retail media. And then there are hidden budgets within the trade team, which is a major retail media budget. So I think for large brands, one of the key themes that we have seen is, I think you need to think about strategic resource allocation and how a retail media investment can be proven as a investment with the right kind of ROI, incrementality, and so that is something that needs to be thought about. Now, talking a little bit about the measurement challenges sometimes that we face, I think when we started the journey, it was a little bit difficult to find what is the right KPI to go at. Most of the initial retail media partner investment was made on ROAS, and I mean, when I started doing the ROAS, we were seeing 1,200% of ROAS, right? Like when I remember our CFO telling, hey, we should stop this business and start investing in retail media. So the key theme is how can we move away from move towards a measurement which is talking about incrementality of how, so that is going to be very important. And the last aspect is breaking the silos or making sure that the data is integrated as well. That's a huge challenge. So with retail media networks and partnerships, we are getting what we call as a second-party data, which is like the first-party data to the retail media networks. So integrating that into any large brand's third-party data that is available with their internal data, that is going to help drive the right kind of measurement, activation, and more importantly, the integrated brand experience as well. So
yeah, Andreas, I'll throw to you as the tech stack that powers a lot of these.
So maybe referring to or getting back to what Deepak just said, like I would like to elevate the problem a little bit and get to where the bottom of the issue of this industry actually is. Who of you has been to the Brooklyn Botanic Garden down in Prospect Park? Many of you. Probably to watch the cherry blossom, right? And you've seen this park is packed around that time of the year. So big walled gardens work amazingly well. We've seen this with Google, we've seen this with Meta, they work amazingly well. But now picture that we took a part of that botanic garden and carve it out and label it with Amazon and we build a huge wall around it. That's their market share, like around about 38% in the US. And we take the remaining 2/3 of that botanic garden and we cut it down into, well, we give it to the retailers and they choose to build little gardens and pull walls around them. So we have this 2/3 with 50 little walled gardens. If you're a brand, you hate climbing those walls. It's just not fun to get into all those little walled gardens. And if you are a retailer, you don't like to sell to brands who hate climbing walls. So it's a highly difficult, tedious thing to do. So this is the first problem. The second problem is more about how we maintain those little walled gardens. And visitors do not want to see weeds in the garden. And much like weeds, unwanted weeds in the garden, sponsored products and on-site display banners oftentimes just clutter the experience. And they distract people from what they are supposed to do, which is search, find, and buy products. So if we combine those two things, we get to the staggering reality that Amazon, while having just this 1/3 of Prospect Park, the 38 market share, they make 80% of the retail media revenues. So if we want to change this and not let them just run away and win it all, we have to reconsider whether we want to operate 50 walled gardens. And that's, in essence, I think what Deepak is also telling, like measurement standards are failing. And so it's a big mess.
All right. Just because I love that analogy also, I'll start with you and then Melissa will go to you. What do retailers need to do to fix those things?
I can't speak for everyone. I can just like share a little bit how clients we work with have approached this, and they're all following the same playbook. They touch or they tackle the weeds in the garden problem first. Make sure that ads you show on your precious website are not intrusive, that people like to click on them. Once you get there, you can open up more inventory to give brands more control at the point of sale. And then, as you have ads that perform and you have a lot of inventory, you need to open up to demand sources from the outside. And for example, all brands have budgets which they put into Google search or Microsoft search. And why can't we take those budgets that already exist and connect them seamlessly into retail media? And if we see, for example, Home Depot, they just tackled this first problem. Staples is more along that journey and has started integrating these demand sources. But that's a playbook for everyone, like relevancy, add inventory, and then get demand from the outside so you don't have to sell one by one and let brands climb over your walls.
Totally. So Melissa, can you help some of the retailers that may be in the room whose heart pressure has just skyrocketed?
I think at the end of the day, what Deepak and Andreas are talking about is making it easier to work with retailers, and making things easier for our advertisers to work with us is a key priority for us, which is why earlier this year we launched our self-serve offering for programmatic with the Trade Desk. Ultimately, this was something that our brands and suppliers had been asking for, and we really want to be able to empower them with the tools to make them successful. It was something that we took a very measured approach to. We listened to what they had to say, and ultimately want to be able to provide them with the tools that they need in order to succeed. We took a measured approach. We listened to their needs, and ultimately this builds on our managed serve offering, allowing them for more ways to access our inventory. Many of our brands and suppliers already use Trade Desk, and Trade Desk shares our same commitment to transparency. Ultimately, we do see ourselves launching more self-serve offerings in the future as well.
I'm sure that's music to the programmatic.
Yeah.
Deepak, do you have anything to add from the Mars
So I have a question. How many retail media networks are here? Can I get a quick show of hands? And how many brands?
Nice.
I think
a couple.
very less. I think we need more brands here, actually. So, see, I think it is important for retail media networks and also the service providers in retail media to work very closely with brands. I think, and I think I'm glad that I was able to give a good example from the audience itself, right? Because, see, you have to see the objective of retail media is to be a lion's share of a media/marketing investment of the advertising budget of a large brand. I think you have to work very closely with the brands because you have to understand what are the challenges a brand is going through to direct investments in this area. Now, one thing that I'm a huge fan of the IAB's work in building the standardized measurement framework because, end of the day, I used to build measurement solutions for the organization, and my measurement standard for each of the retail media network, I always have a large footnote because everything is different. The way you do it for Amazon and to any other retail media network was different. So I think it is important for RMNs to come together, work with the strategic partners, and also work very closely with the brands on standardizing. So IAB has a lot of done standardization work. I think we should continue to do that.
And if I don't mind adding that CVS Media Exchange is one of the RMNs that have actually adopted the IAB measurement guidelines. And not all retailers have done that. So.
Correct.
I love to see standards in action. It makes my heart happy. So sticking with the two of you, both of your companies are both very large advertisers with very large brand media investment, but also your retailers who want to sell things in your physical stores and on your websites. So Deepak, I think you mentioned this, how integrated are the teams that are focused on, say, the shopper marketing co-branded things with sort of the brands and the media buyers there?
Absolutely. See, I think when it comes to large brands, right, the key objective for a large brand is to give that integrated experience and consumer journey to our consumers. And there is only one way you can give that integrated consumer journey by breaking down the internal silos between in-store, online, and just making sure that consumers are getting that better experience. And I think purely as a data and analytics practitioner, one of the key aspects that we see is large organizations, there are a lot of internal organizational silos as well. So we generally say that you might have heard the analogy of 4 blind people explaining an elephant. Somebody touching the leg and calling it something, somebody touching the trunk and calling it something else. And that is happening in large organizations. So, the elephant in the room is our consumer. Sales explains the consumer a certain way. The marketing explains the same consumer a different way. Supply chain explains the same consumer a different way, etc. So how can we build that single source of truth with the objective of driving that integrated brand experience is extremely important. I think that's where I would start. There are areas where we are able to make some significant progress, which I'm really, really proud of. But at the same time, I think this is the beginning of the journey is what I would say.
Yeah, I'm going to take a retailer point of view here. I think a good example of this in an actual real life example is our tentpole campaigns. Now, tentpoles are those big moments within a shopper's journey. Think holiday, cold and flu season, allergy. What we do is during tentpoles, we actually work together with the entire organization to achieve an advertiser's objective. So we will work with the merchant org, we work with the front store marketing team, we work with the RMN, we work with our Heart House creative team. We've actually seen some pretty significant performance from our tentpole campaigns. I think 3x ROAS for past tentpoles, with 40% of tentpole buyers being new to the brand. Additionally, with our past 2023 holiday tentpole, 50% of buyers were new to the brand. We believe that retail at CMX, that the retail media arm is a critical component to an advertiser's holistic campaign. There's certain things that should always be on, such as your sponsored products and your digital, which are always on moments that are creating that digital shelf that's just as important to your shelf in store. At the end of the day, we try to partner with the merchant organization and everybody internally, as well as the advertiser, to break down those silos, listen to the advertiser's holistic goals, and really make sure that we are driving performance for them.
Yeah, at Tech Lab, we have been working on basically a programmatic on-site request response for those PLAs, which I think Andreas speaks directly to what you were talking about, around helping break down some of those silos. But what are you seeing sort of on your end as the tech stack that sits across multiple retailers?
I mean, we are seeing pretty much what they both described. You have to consolidate your sales efforts, and one way of doing this, and example, Home Depot again, I think Target, Roundel did something similar. They both built their own front end where they consolidate all different channels, because there is no one single tech solution that does it all. You have to stitch this together. So this unified front end pulls all the data together and has everything in one place, so that you can sell comprehensive media plans from this one place, and from there they steer their campaigns. And that's kind of taking, you have a walled garden, and previously there were walls within your garden. The one guy sold display, the other one email, the next one in-store. So this is just very hard to manage, so this is all now coming together.
I love that. I love that. And actually, we have a few minutes here, so we can actually nerd out a bit on this. What are you excited about? There are so many just really neat executions out there. There are so many cool things, so many novel and really interesting ways to use the retailer data. What kind of innovations are you three looking forward to? And have at it.
Good.
Oh, Deepak, go for it.
Okay, so I'll start with, as a analytics practitioner, I should say, I mean, the answer is I'm really excited about AI. We say internally quite a bit that, hey, you can't spell retail without AI in it. So the key theme is that I think when it comes to leveraging, when it comes to content creative, the ability for AI to reduce the non-working capital spend is significantly higher. I would say the number of our organization's ability to adapt to the new AI capabilities is going to be a game changer in what we are doing. Now, while I'm really excited about AI, I think we have to make sure that responsible usage of AI is non-negotiable within all of our organization, because I think AI has the power to amplify the societal inconsistencies which is being asking, a lot of biases which is being happening quite easily, and it can amplify it. So that is something that we need to do. AI using responsibly should be something that all of us should be focusing on. And for doing that, I think we need to have a agile mindset as well. Large organizations, most of my, new talent who have joined the organization, they generally tell us that, hey, we do 6 months of alignment to do 6 weeks of AI work. So large organization, we have to operate in an agile way, build a culture of empowering people to take decisions, drive experiments, fail fast, so that these AI experiments can be successful. Because the capability, the AI, the technology is advancing so fast, a traditional large organization mindset of let's take our own sweet time to experiment might not work in this area. So I think that would be something which I'm really excited about, responsible usage of AI.
I don't think it would be an internet tech conference if somebody didn't mention AI on every panel, so keep up the combo. What about you, Melissa?
I'm not going to say AI, sorry. For me, there's three big themes. So one is self-service, so being able to allow for advertisers to bring their own tools and empowering them with the tools they need to reach these RMNs and really create a sense of democratization. The second is obviously advancements around closed loop measurement. I know we mentioned before that that's something we've been really leaning into, but being able to measure and report out on retailer data that has historically just been, we've held it pretty close to the cuff. And I know that's something that we've been doing in the past years, really just been working on providing reportings and dashboards for our brands and suppliers to have this data at their basically at their footsteps. And then lastly, in-store. Bringing digital in-store. I know that right now CVS has over 9,000 stores, with 74 of them having a digital footprint, and we're really looking forward to leaning into that and really bringing the online and the in-store presence together.
Yeah, I think that hits on something super important. Like, you can't do the really interesting, fancy, AI-driven things unless you have those really good foundations in place. Yeah. Andreas, what about you?
I think I would wish to see innovation in the ecosystem itself. I feel retail media is where the broader media space was maybe 15 years ago. It was highly inefficient, it was relationship-based, selling one-to-one. Now it's a programmatic industry that actually works in a much more efficient way. So I would love to see retail media moving from this sort of relationship-driven tax that brands are paying today to something that is a more open marketplace that works without too much friction. So I think
music to my ears.
I think advertisers, so brands and retailers alike, will benefit from something like this.
Yeah, this is fantastic. We probably have time for like one or two questions if there's any from the audience. Yes, hello.
Has CVS explored the possibility of allowing customers to use their smart TV sets and their smart TV devices, many of which now have the ability with artificial intelligence to do that, to order products and services from CVS?
It's obviously advancements in creative technology is something that we're always looking into. So as far as from the brand perspective, potentially like in the future looking at QR codes or other forms of creative technology, we want to ultimately make it a better shopping experience. So yes, we are constantly looking for ways to innovate.
Yeah, and I'll actually weigh in from both the tech lab side and my counterpart at the IAB from a policy standpoint. We are working very closely together to look at sort of, are there CTV ad formats that need standardizing and updating? And certainly, I imagine like shoppable ads are going to be part of that bucket that are under evaluation. And how do we standardize? Not only how do you think about them, what are the litmus tests to be considered falling into each bucket, and then also how do you do the request response for like a QR code? How do you describe that inventory? So there is, it's an open question, but it's a ongoing question that has a lot of attention right now. Cool. Well, thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure.